No auto-tuning, no reverb. And only about 5.5 years of constant, endless practice. We didn't work on Sundays. We recovered from Saturday night dinner show. We called it the dinner show because that was all that was on your mind the entire time that you would play on Saturday night, no matter where we would play. We would be an hour and a half driving distance because you had to include loading time. Aerosmith, when they drove their ancient van into Las Vegas for the Aerosmith Conquers Las Vegas start of their run, had the van that they loaded their original equipment into, and when they slid the door, it would go zzzz. And Steven goes, I remember that sound. And he stared at it, and you could tell he was going back in time. How many thousands of times did he hear that door slide shut about 45 minutes to an hour and a half after the show because you had to load your own gear? I heard the same thing from the back of Ed's blue Dodge van. He had the same doors. Boom, boom, time for dinner. And dinner meant we would start off at about 2:30, and we would drive from wherever we were. We might be out in San Bernardino, as far south as San Diego, and as far north as Santa Barbara. You know all these names. You can look these up. But that's as far as our little cars would take us. And on more than several occasions, I would run out of gas because I had put the money into a cool new pair of shoes or repairing a microphone. Or Ed or somebody hopefully might come along and see that I had pulled over at the gas station between here and the Golden West Ballroom down on Huntington Boulevard, because it happened to me, I think, 3 times specifically. And after the first time, I told him, use the turnoff. If I'm not there, just get back on the freeway and go. Because at that time, there were no phones and there were no lights on that segment of the freeway. So you felt like you were Lindbergh crossing the ocean. It would be black, black, black for almost an hour. And if you ran out of gas, there was one off-ramp with one gas station that opened up at 8 in the morning. And after the first time, them knocking on the window, they got to know me because I invited them to the gig. Dance the night away. But if I made it, we gathered at the Denny's on Rosemead Boulevard. The night away. And for the first time that week, we had dinner. The Saturday Night Supper Club, or the dinner show that led up to it, usually had the band. And remember, we were at the top of our game. It was 1975.
Here comes the champion of the world, Muhammad Ali. President of the Philippines will introduce. A roar goes up as
The top of our game.
The way Glenn Miller played
songs that made the hit parade.
Guys like
All
us,
in the
we
Family
had
was the
it
television
made.
show, the Thrilla in Manila, and Van Halen at our peak. And we were singing our asses off. So the only time that you could really have dinner was on Saturday night because there's no show on Sunday. And we would gather at Denny's and get everything on the menu and order doubles of it. The first time that we showed up, the old gals, these waitresses, would flip out and go, oh my God, the Hells Angels showed up. Except we had these incredible super surf girls. Come on, it comes with a few benefits. We lived with the terror of the unforeseen finish. Jesus, we watched all of our friends go to college, join the military, start traveling, get their lives started. And we spent 5.5 years wondering, are we really going to dance the night away? Well, our version of Lifestyles of the Rich and Painless started on Saturday night at Denny's, over at the top of Rosemead, still there. And you would order everything from both sides of the menu, including extra butters, extra syrups, extra toasts, and everything. And we would call that dinner part 2 and part 3 because you would spend all of Sunday eating. Monday and Tuesday, vocal practice. Dance the night away. Singers don't eat. Dance, dance, dance the night away. I had a 29-inch waist, and I still got some of the pants left over from some of the other fellas. Eddie had a 26-inch waist. I put in a bunch of mannequins, like maybe we'll do a clothing exhibit or something, and the only mannequins, Tom is sitting over here. He'll not, because the house is full of black, female, high-fashion mannequins, which are the only ones that would fit into our show clothes at that time. My arm barely fits into the leg of the pants that Eddie wore. Talk about dancing the night away. We danced our entire body weight away. You had to be danceable or you didn't get work. And if you didn't get work, you had to really go to work. And it was imperative that we make this happen. Somebody said to me the other day, we want to do a movie and you come into the backyard, like Wahlberg sees somebody and he says, I can sing and you can play. Or the guy from Queen says, you're great, but you need me and you'll be greater. That's not what happened with us at all. I said to him, you got to be able to dance or the floor isn't packed. And if the floor ain't packed, the check don't get cashed, just like it says in the Torah. We think so. We don't know. We may never know. But it says it somewhere. And this is 1975. I just turned 21. I had the full Farrah Fawcett haircut. F3, baby. Oh, I look good. Don't laugh at my haircut, because today my haircut back then would have had its own Instagram. My memory's good, but it's getting shorter with age, so it's even funnier if I've been laboring under an illusion and living a lie this entire time. But as I remember, when I turned 21, it was Get Down Tonight by Casey and the Sunshine Band, and you should have heard my band play the cover off the ball on that shit, because it wasn't no fun kind of, let's just sort of have a random run at the ball here. It wasn't a wedding band version. We were a lot closer. My fucking rhythm section, Al and Mike Anthony, were a lot closer to Tower of fucking Power than it was of Casey and the Sunshine Band. The first song that we played for an audition, and we effing killed it, was Get Down Tonight by the Isley Brothers. Slam on some Tower of Power, baby. Tell me what's hip. Now you out of love again. You hearing it. I was also coming from the background where on Sunday nights I was parking in my little Opel Kadett station wagon outside of the Ice House, very famous Bob Stain's Ice House in Pasadena. And Sunday nights, if you signed up at 6 o'clock, depending on what time you signed up at, is the time that you would go on at after the last act finished on a Sunday night. It was audition night. But for most of us, it was more like battery acid drenched training, because Bob Stain never showed his face. He was just a voice heckling over the loud intercom system. And in 1975, you would go and I would play acoustic guitar.
There's a
well on the hill, you just can't kill for Jesus. Well on the hill.
Let it be.
James Taylor was that mid-version of the century there. But when Van Halen showed up on the scene and it was time to pack the floor, it was more like Cold Blood's version of that song.
There's a well on the hill, you just can't kill for Jesus.
And you're listening to Lydia Pence in the background. Most of my vocal mentors, my imitators, I thought the bar would be a lot higher if I was imitating a voice like that, if I was using that as my launch point. That's Lydia Pence in the background here. And if Lydia wasn't strong enough, then we dealt with Lolita Holloway. Baby Gene Kennedy singing for Mother's Finest.
There is no other to compare you. You've got me darling, 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 giving all I have to you. Feelings I never find, but those feelings ain't complete.
wanted to have a voice like that. I wanted to sound like Tata Vega, baby.
Just keep thinking about today. All right now. Oh, just keep thinking about today. There is no way.
These are unfamiliar names to some of the rock crowd, but you might remember some of the sound or some of the tone, and that's what Van Halen's about. Beginner spirit is what defined Van Halen. I spent some time imitating the fellas who sang for the Rolling Stones and Queen, but the high bar, is what you just heard there. And even today, if I had a class of vocal students and you want to get a killer rock sound, this is where you go. Now let's listen to Van Halen. Feel it from 10 blocks away. That's how far away you had to park when the Van Halen brothers played. Eddie Van Halen played an electric guitar that sounded like concrete poetry. His solo sounded like heated mercury or some kind of pure California candy, and when he handled that whammy bar, no shit, always reminded me of Stevie Wonder on roller skates. Insensitive? Too early for insensitive. Wow! Whoa! Look out, Steve! Very superstitious. Single stack Marshall, gold top Lester, gas pedal clutch, and no brakes at all. To that boy. Trick question. What's the most important first ingredient in any great rock band? The drummer. He alone who possesses the immaculate groove, who floats like a butterfly, stings like a B-52. Dance floor is packed, check gets cash, just like it says in the Torah. Simple as Ringo, colorful as Al. The truly great win that one name. Keith, Charlie, Bonham, and Al. To me, it was instantly apparent, clearly evident as the day is bright. I was exactly what this band needed. There's a reason they named the most powerful energy drink on the shelf after our job description. Full disclosure. This career contains violence, nudity, and constant peril, usually by happy hour. So we increased the length of happy hour from 5 till February. Welcome to Diamond Dave's Tiki Bunker, where the debris meets the sea. Tonight, the Van Halen story. As it is in the Bible, there is no I or me in team, but there is a you in pussy. And the Lord looked down on Pasadena and said, don't the four of you be pussies. And we said, same true that shit likewise. Lord, we're going to make a holy sound in your name. Yes, we are. And when we do, we want you to show up. Don't send Jesus. This ain't going to be no place for kids. Amen. Most of the names aren't changed. No one was innocent. A lot of it happened after midnight when everybody's guilty. It was too dark to remember, Judge. Too late to see. Whole lot of Shakespeare going on. We was a team, a band, and a family. Oh, you can get along perfectly with your family. Us neither. We was going to arrive like a blast of dirty thunder and leave audiences feeling like they just French kissed the business end of a 747. In a city of sore thumbs, we were going to stick out like Moby Dick in a goldfish bowl. We was going to laugh like pirates, train like Spartans, and our career path expectations were going to be a page right out of Scarface. The Wajo Papi and everything in it. Music was the ticket. Stardom was the passport, and we wanted both. How many rock stars does it take to change a light bulb? One. You hold the bulb and wait for the world to revolve around you. Tonight, our plan was to stuff the Van Halen light bulb up the backside of Southern California and flip the switch on what Guinness Book of World Records recorded as one ginormous fucking paycheck. You've heard of burning your candle at both ends. For 10 years, our little town rock band took a flamethrower to ours, 17 times the light in 1/3 the time. Most of it real, all of it imagined, and the best stuff no one could have imagined. How many rock bands does it take to change a light bulb? Answer, one to change the bulb, and about 20 fucking million on the guest list. Lights, hammer, rock and roll.